today's warm-up for 4-3 is going to have a lot to do with systems of equations. You've got some graphing to do on inequality, which is good review because we haven't seen that in a while. So hopefully these things will help you be prepared for that EOC that we are going to take in May. It says Sam needs to rent a computer with Microsoft Word. The rental fee for the computer is $39.99 per month, with a one-time fee of $60 to have Word on the computer. Write an equation for the total cost. C, guys, they're telling you this is the total cost. They're saying use C, so C equals. They're giving you the information about what to call the variable. To rent the computer with Microsoft Word, calculate the total cost for 10 rental months. So C is going to be your total cost, and it tells you they pay $39.99 per month. Guys, what are we going to use per month? You can use anything you want to. What did y'all say? I didn't hear it. I'll wait. I'm not going to tell you. M, perfect. Plus, what is the one-time fee? $60, perfect. There you go. That is the equation they have for you. You had to write the equation. That's probably going to be like a part A. That's going to be the first part of the problem, is taking and writing an equation. You have to type that equation into the box. The second part of the problem is to calculate the cost for 10 months rental. If you're going to rent this for 10 months, how much is this going to cost you? So we don't know the cost, but we're going to rent it for a total of 10 months. So we're going to plug in a 10 for the M. And your calculator will do all this work for you. Go and grab your calculator, type that in. 39.99 times 10 plus 60. Just do it all in one swoop. It will do the order of operations for you. When you multiply that, what do you get? 90? Okay, perfect. So that would be $459.90. Now guys, if that's the truth, which y'all know that renting most times is not helpful. That I know we have to rent. I have to pay for, deal with rent with my son's apartment next year, and we have to deal with that, and we've got to deal with renting. Some people rent cars, or lease cars it's called, but they have to do that because they can't afford to pay for the down payment to buy them. However, you end up paying more for something when you do that. A mortgage on a home is the same idea. You're paying for a mortgage, but at least you get to keep the thing at the end, and it's not going to go back to them at the end. Okay? So when you rent something, you end up paying a lot. If you could, nowadays, you can get a computer for that much and get a pretty decent computer, and it'd be much better, and you'd have it after 10 months. You wouldn't have to give it back. So you have to be careful about those kind of deals. Okay, so from there, the next one. It says the sum of the measure of angle X and angle Y is 180. There's an equation, guys. We've got angle X, angle Y. We're doing their sum. What does sum mean? Add, and it adds up to 180. So we've got X plus Y equals 180. Says if the measure of angle X is, guys, when they say X is, what do they mean? X what? Equals. X equals 20 more than 3 times the measure of angle Y. So guys, 20 more than means we're going to be adding 20, but that 20 has got to be added to the end. So it's going to be plus 20 on the end right here. And then 3 times the measure of angle Y, how would we write that? 3y. Perfect. This is a system of equations. We have 2 equations. And what way would we solve this? By what method? Substitution. Nicely done. Why would we use substitution? Because it already says X equals, and we can already put a box around this. It's already set up to solve right like that. So we are going to take and we are going to substitute in where the X is this 3y plus 20. So now it's going to be 3y plus 20. That's my X. I'm plugging that in right here where the X is in this problem. Plus y equals 180. So what's 3y plus y, guys? If I combine the like terms, 4y plus 20 equals 180. Once I have all my like terms combined, I got to move my numbers away from my variables, so I'm going to minus 20 minus 20. It's going to make it 4y equals 160. Now that I've gotten rid of the addition and subtraction, to get rid of the multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. It's going to make it y equals 40. So, guys, right here, y is going to be 40. I'm going to plug that into that equation. I can plug it into the box. I can plug it into either place, and it still gives me the same answer. Most people do better if they plug it in the box. 3 times 40 plus 20. What's 3 times 40, guys? 120. And 120 plus 20 would put me at a final answer of x equals 140. You could have plugged in the other one. It's perfectly okay. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer. But in this case, x is going to be 140. Now, because of this problem, we have to be very careful to answer it however they ask it. So they say, what are the measures of both angles? My guess is you might have a drop-down menu for each one. You may have a box to type in for each one. I'm going to show you on a practice test all the different formats of types of questions so you can see them, because the EOC has more formats of questions than any other test that they give. So there are so many ways they could ask this, but they could ask you just to give the ordered pair for the two answers, but we're just going to write it just like we were doing sentence answer. So angle x is 140 degrees and angle y is 40 degrees. Angle x is 140 degrees and angle y is 40 degrees. Okay, the next one we're going to do is graphing an inequality. Does anybody have any questions on this before I move down there? We have not done this for a while, guys. We have not graphed inequalities in a while. Not since Systems of Inequalities in Chapter 6 before Christmas. Okay, guys, here we go. So for this inequality, first things first, it is not in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to take it over here. I'm going to write that inequality. X minus 3y is less than 9. I'm going to solve it first. I'm going to solve it into slope-intercept form so that I can graph with it. To solve it into slope-intercept form, I'm going to minus x. Ooh, they even gave you a hard one because you got to remember a rule. Let's see if you remember it when we do this. When you minus x from both sides, the x is going to cancel out. You're going to get negative 3y is less than the opposite of x plus 9. It's a plus 9 because the 9 is positive, guys. If it was a negative, you'd make it minus 9. In order to get that y by itself, we're going to divide everything by negative 3. Bells should be going off. Ding, 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 ding. This is a problem. When you divide an inequality by a negative, what happens? The what flips? The sign flips. There you go. The sign flips. So this is going to cross out. It's going to be y. But instead of now being less than, it's now going to be greater than. The sign flips when you divide by a negative number. The sign flips when you divide by a negative number. The negatives here are going to cancel out. Guys, what number is going to go in front of x for my slope? What is going to be this right here? This is going to be a fraction. What's it going to be? What number is really in front of my x? 1. So what fraction would that be? 1/3 x minus, because a positive and negative would make it a negative. And 9 divided by 3 would be 3. Alright, that means that my slope, m equals, is going to be 1/3. My b, which is going to be my y-intercept, is going to be the point 0, negative 3. I have to have those two pieces of information in order just to graph the line. But to get an inequality, I need two more pieces of information. I need to know if it's going to be solid or dashed. Which one? Dashed, because it does not have an or equal. It is a dashed line. Dashed line. Okay? And then the next thing, is it going to be shaded above or below? Greater than is what, guys? Greater than is above. Greater than is above. Good. There we go. Okay, let's show you how to graph this. Here we go. So starting off with, here is 0, 0. We'll start that right in the middle. How do you know that's 0, 0? Guys, see the lines are darker. Those are your axes. They may not number it. You have to be able to recognize dark ones are going to be the axes, which means that's going to be the origin where they intersect. So 0, negative 3 is this point right here. 0, don't go left or right. Go down to negative 3. That is your y-intercept. From that point, we are going to use our slope to rise and run. We are going to rise 1 and run 3. So we're going to go up 1 and go over 3. Go up 1 and go over 3. Guys, since I can't keep going up and to the right, the opposite of that would be down and to the left. Down and to the left. Down 1 to the left 3. There are all the points that I can get on this graph. Now guys, we're not taking out a ruler, we're not using a ruler, we're just going to sketch right here. We are going to sketch a line, but it is going to be what kind of line before you draw? It's going to be a dash line before you draw. So dash it. Dash line. You're going to label it because on the EOC they actually have you label them by dragging and dropping different equations, or you can actually type in the little box next to it. So you do have to label on your EOC. We didn't think that was a thing, and then we realized one year the kid came back and said I did that. I was like, oh geez. So yes, you have to label. There's a reason I make you label your lines. Right. Now we've got to decide where to shade. Now, we're going to do it like normal, and I'm going to talk about how that might look on the EOC, because they may not have like a shading tool, but they'll ask you the question in a weird way. It is shaded above. So above would be everything up here, because if this was a tree, it'd fall the other way, which would be below. You wouldn't want to be standing there below it. So this is the above side. Now, the way they might ask this, excuse me, the way they may ask this on the EOC is they may say something like, please put a star in the area where you need to shade. If that's true, you could put the star anywhere over here where the lines are. Okay? They'll have a little star where you drop it and put the star. It's odd, but that's just how they ask the question. They don't have a way for you to actually shade it in. They might have it do it that way. They've done it different ways, guys, so you've got to be able to understand that. Okay, anybody see anything on this that you need to ask about graphing that inequality? Okay, last one. Read this question and tell me what it's asking you. Does it ask you for the answer? No. All it's asking you is what? How many solutions? So let's remind ourselves what the possibilities are. You could have two lines that never touch each other, and how many solutions would they have in common? 0. 0, none, 0, either way to say it is fine. If they are normal lines and just cross like this, how many are they going to have in common? How many solutions? 1. And if they are the exact same line and go right on top of each other, where you have the same line just right over the top of it, how many are you going to have in common? Say it again. Infinitely many solutions. Those are the three possibilities, guys. You got to know the difference between those three, and those graphs will help you kind of get the idea. But we need to go through and talk about it in terms of this. Okay, what's the first thing you notice about these two problems, about the second problem especially? It's x, but then it's got an equal sign and it's out of order. Do y'all see it's not in standard form? First thing you need to do is put it in standard form. So we're going to take that 9x equals 18 minus 6y, and we're going to put it in standard form. To do that, we are going to add 6y to both sides. Now put them in alphabetical order, please. Don't put the 6y in front. It's going to be the 9x first, the 6y second, and the 18 third. The last thing we've got to do, there's one more thing we got to do, guys. We've got to take out the common factors. So what will go into 9, 6, and 18? 9, 6, and 18. What will go into all three of those? Oh, 3. That's funny. 3. That is correct. 3 goes into 9 3 times. That'd be 3x. 3 goes into 6 2 times, so it'd be 2y. And 3 goes into 18 6 times. So now I'm going to write them next to each other. The first equation is 3x plus 2y equals 6. The second equation is 3x plus 2y equals 6. Guys, immediately I should know my answer. If they are the exact same equation, then they are going to be the exact same what? Line. If they're going to be the exact same line, what's the number of solutions they have? Infinitely many solutions. This is the one it's going to fit. Infinitely many solutions. That is going to be your answer. We could, just so you know, multiply everything on the bottom by -1 and cancel that out or subtract it, however you want to think about it, and it'd end up being 0 equals 0, which we said that's when you get infinitely many solutions, just so you can see the math behind it. But you didn't have to show that step. It didn't ask you that. It just said how many. Okay, guys, that's your warm-up. Take that, put it in your warm-up section. Please write down today's date on that warm-up 4-3 if you have not done so already. If you do not have 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3, you're missing any one of those warm-ups, please get those out of the folder over there. You can find the videos for those